Endangered mountain gorillas living in troops, wandering through the windy, impenetrable forest of southern Uganda. These are the endangered gorillas that were nearing extinction because of poaching. Now they're making a comeback because of responsible tourism and conservation.
So he wanted... It's dead.
For centuries, the Batwa pygmy tribe shared this forest with the gorillas. Hunter-gatherers, they were pushed out of the forest when the Ugandan government turned it into a national park. They have resettled now in small villages around the park, but with little or no education or skills that could lead to employment, it has been difficult. Nakaringo is one of those communities, sandwiched between the national park on one side and a string of 8 volcanoes, 2 of them still active, on the other side. This is probably the most remote location that Sowing Seeds has ever started a sowing training program since it began in Sierra Leone 20 years ago. Most of the population here lives on small farms along the steep slopes of the surrounding mountains. Families survive on what they can grow to feed themselves and to sell at rural markets. Tourism offers an opportunity for some employment, but it's limited to those with appropriate skills. I've been bringing tourists here for gorilla tracking for more than a decade. That is the Sowing Seeds connection to Uganda. Once Sowing Seeds committed to creating and sustaining a sowing training program, the work began, and there was a lot of it, like any other new program. Student projects had to be cut and packaged, thread and other supplies and sewing machines had to be purchased, all within a tight budget. The sewing team of Laura, Heather, Jean, Angela, Chris, and myself started putting plans in place in early 2024. Candace and Sylvia directed traffic.
For the whole team, just a ton of work. Sylvia helped me a lot, giving me guidance of things of what was needed, because she did a ton of that in the background. So it was a learning experience of how much she put together to make things happen, and then her trust in us to let us do it. But yeah, a lot of hours.
Finally, in April, the team was ready to go. The Nakaringo is not easy to get to. It takes about 20 hours of traveling just to get to southern Uganda. Then there's a long drive through the remote, picturesque hills to get to the community of Nakaringo. And a warm welcome from some of the women that will become their students. Let me back up just a bit. The Nakaringo Sewing Program was created through a grant of about $55,000 from the Rotary Club of Calgary Downtown, and a new partnership between Sowing Seeds Canada and a local charity called the Gorilla Junction Foundation. Its founder, Lydia Eva Mapanga, a successful Ugandan businesswoman with deep roots in this community, funded construction of a new community center. It had been a dream of hers to create a facility where community members would be trained in skills that could offer them some financial security. She shared that dream with me over dinner in Entebbe in 2023. When she mentioned the word sewing, my hand went right up. I said, "Stop right there. I know the organization and the people that can make that happen." And of course, I mentioned Sowing Seeds Canada.
I am very, very excited. If there's anything that I can sit back and say I have done good, it's with the community center. Because sometimes we all want to give, but sometimes we're just giving a handout here and there, and there's no impact on life. So the community center for me was a place that it's a continuity of training, skilling, and it doesn't just last for a week. It's a lifetime for the community. And meeting with you, Rick, and discussing this, it's something I have wanted to do for years. But sometimes we just need a push. So, and for me, the push was you. When you discussed, and I felt like there was someone out there that actually believed in what I was doing or did the same things I did. And we made it work.
On a gorilla tracking trip, Jean and I went to see the training sites before the first brick was even laid down. And on the next few guiding trips, I watched as it grew. Now, when word circulated through these hills that a sewing training program was coming, more than 100 people applied for a seat at a sewing machine. On any new sewing program, and I've been fortunate to be involved in every one of them, things don't always go exactly as planned, and this program was no different. After a good night's sleep to shake off some of the jet lag, the sewing team made its first appearance at the new community sewing room.
Well, we arrived on Sunday thinking it was just a sewing setup day and that we were going to put out all our supplies and thread the machines and go. And the machines were all there and in place. But then when we started trying the machines, we realized we couldn't even make them go. I have a treadle machine at home and I'm pretty good at it now, but I couldn't even make it turn. I'm holding on, and I'm pushing and pushing and pushing, and it was practically impossible. So they all needed to be oiled, and it turns out it takes a few days for that oil really to get into the brand new machines, so they're lubricated enough for the parts to move properly. But we didn't have a few days. We were starting the training the next day, so we really had to figure out how to force that treadle down and make those machines work and just get going. But it was pretty daunting, trying to sew while you're holding on and pushing like this.
And it was like chaos. And I'm going, oh, okay. But you learn to adjust and you have to go with it. And I think the biggest was I felt so bad that the machines weren't working. And it was nobody's fault. They are what they are, and we had to work with that, but it was just, the panic was like, now what will we do? And what will we do if we only have 2 machines that work or none that work? Or, it was just, so that was difficult,
I take the role of being a teacher seriously, and it was okay for them to struggle and to have challenges. That was part of the expectation. It wasn't okay for me to struggle and have challenges. I was supposed to be ready and be Johnny on the spot, able to teach them, and certainly didn't feel that was going to be possible that first day.
So as the teaching team left the community center on that setup day, there was a big dark cloud hanging over the project. If we can't get the machines to work properly, how can we possibly teach anyone to sew? It was not the start that they had planned for.